The ability to focus gives you superpowers. Most people can't stay concentrated on one task for long, which is why those who've mastered this skill can achieve way bigger results than others. The internet is literally flooded with recommendations on how to learn to focus on what's important, but many of these tips are far from reality. Studies, work, workouts, and hobbies. Any of these, even the most unpleasant ones, can stop causing discomfort, and the ability to handle chores in the blink of an eye will make you a superhero, or almost. Today, we'll share how to avoid distractions and reach your full potential by staying focused on solving the problem. Be sure to watch this video till the end. There are two types of focus: scattered and directed. Scattered focus is attention spread across multiple tasks, cleaning the house while talking on the phone, or any other multitasking made possible by scattered focus. Directed focus helps us concentrate on one thing, and that's where most problems arise because there's just too much information around us these days. We've learned to interact with the world in a new way, processing data and making decisions in seconds or even split seconds. As a rule, this mindset helps us, but for some activities it can be critical, like spending an hour reading a book seems like an eternity. Wait, it's not that scary. By the way, scattered focus can also cause issues, which is why texting while driving is a terrible idea. It's no surprise that it's fined in some countries. The thing is, our brain is really bad at switching between tasks since it's designed not just to search for answers, but to constantly load context. And although it takes very little time, in a critical moment, the brain may simply run out of resources. So if you regularly break mugs and your smartphone keeps falling, it might not be because you're clumsy, but because you're trying to do too many things simultaneously. Try tackling them one by one and you'll succeed. Let's get back to directed focus. What do you need to do to properly concentrate and take on one task? It's simple. We need to remove all distracting factors. Any irritants that hinder concentration should disappear, at least temporarily. Psychologists from Harvard University distinguish between intentional and accidental mind wandering. They concluded that only the latter is harmful for productivity. People who have learned to turn their minds off when not needed, like during mindless mechanical work, tend to handle tasks more successfully. So mind wandering is not always bad, quite the opposite, in fact. Problems arise when something distracts us and we don't realize it. It's crucial to understand that our attentional resources are limited at any given moment. We have a certain amount of attention that we allocate between tasks. Let's imagine each of us has 5 units of focus. For example, you decided to use them all to study a foreign language. The lesson is productive, you're immersed. But then there's a knock on the door. You wonder who it might be, go to the hallway and peek through the peephole. No one's there. Okay, back to studying. The issue is, even if you were fully concentrated before, you won't be able to easily return to your previous train of thought. Your attention is now divided, and distracting thoughts will emerge, like curiosity about who knocked, shifting your focus elsewhere. Let's say you now have only 3 units of focus left for studying and 2 for distracting thoughts. You're sort of studying, but your productivity is low because your mind keeps jumping around. But there's good news. Nothing irreversible happened. You just need time to refocus. One thing that distracts us more than anything is that villain, your phone. This tiny gadget that fits in your palm literally has a total defocusing function. It rings, vibrates, and makes sounds for new notifications. Some people even enable the flash for incoming calls. It's amazing they haven't added an electric shock feature yet. Moreover, the phone attracts our attention by itself, even when silent. We subconsciously expect it to be buzzing with activity, while we need to read this stupid, boring book with just plain text and no pictures. Of course, you don't have to take revenge by sending it to a hydraulic press, but removing the gadget from sight is a great idea. Another thing that can affect our ability to concentrate is physiology. Unfortunately, few people pay attention to this. Our bodies require resources for all processes and actions, and focus is no exception. So if you sleep less than 7 hours a day, your concentration declines. 7 to 9 hours of sleep is optimal for most people. Physical exercise is also very beneficial. Dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin, and other neurotransmitters in the right combination will help you focus your attention. A light walk before a study session will undoubtedly be helpful. You don't need to run marathons or become a weightlifting champion for this. What we eat also impacts us. For example, food high in sugar clouds the mind and makes it hard to concentrate. Let's talk about how to tune your directed focus. It's important to note that concentration is a skill, a form of attention training that will inevitably yield results. At first, you may only be able to practice for 10 minutes, but over time your abilities will strengthen, and you'll be able to concentrate for longer periods. Many of us realize the need to do something but need motivation to get started, waiting for inspiration. This is the wrong approach. It would be much more productive to choose a specific time of day when you'll practice focusing your attention. It's best to keep this time free from other activities. Ideally, it should be morning about an hour after waking up, when you're awake but your mind isn't yet cluttered with stray thoughts. It's no coincidence that many brilliant artists and musicians used this time of day to work on their pieces. When we urgently need to get something done, taking a break is the last thing that comes to mind. But research proves the importance of learning to take proper breaks. Experiments conducted back in the 90s showed that we can maximally concentrate for no more than an hour and a half, after which we need a 15-minute break to restore our previous efficiency level. We're all human, and we get tired. It's normal. Ironically, it's during these pauses that many people make a mistake and start scrolling through social media feeds, for example. This stimulates the brain and tires it out. So when the brain needs rest, you're loading it with extra work instead. It would be more beneficial to take a walk, meditate, or even nap. There's ample evidence that those who have learned to meditate better manage their attention and more accurately sense when exactly a break is needed. And even if it doesn't seem fun, we still need to allow ourselves to get bored. We severely lack this in the modern world. Moreover, researchers from the Free University of Amsterdam claim that people's attention doesn't deplete as quickly if they're occasionally asked to disengage and think about something else instead of constant focus on the task. Another important point, your desk is so cluttered that you can hardly tell what's where. It seems like you're about to do something important. This is the conclusion researchers came to after conducting studies that showed we're more productive not at empty, clean desks in complete silence, but in a disorderly, chaotic environment. And while such a setting may seem counterproductive for focusing at first glance, it can actually work the opposite way. It goes like this. When all perception slots are filled, the brain concentrates its resources on the most important task, cutting out everything else, leaving no room for extras. So that hypothetical knock on the door we mentioned earlier won't have such a strong distracting effect. Of course, this method won't work for everyone, but it will definitely help some people. For some, clutter adds a sense of relaxation and allows them to concentrate better. So stickers with cute cats or a poster of their favorite band could be just the thing. Researchers studying leadership issues at the Australian National University in Canberra conducted several studies and concluded that a fun atmosphere in a team boosts productivity. True, you shouldn't overdo the relaxation either. Perhaps the main conclusion from all the research on the ability to concentrate is that stress is the enemy of concentration. Try to find time for exercises and little tricks that will definitely help you feel calmer and more confident. A good mood is the key to successfully completing a task, and you'll make it. Subscribe to us.